Welcome back to the 2 Minute Warning, episode 361, back on the topic of baseball today. Going to be looking again at the Dodgers and whether or not the St. Louis Cardinals can beat them again. Did a same video like this for the Padres, whether or not they can beat the Dodgers and the Braves. So I'm moving on to the Cardinals, again another team in the NL that I expect to be pretty good this season. But first, question of the day, that being, who is the St. Louis Cardinals not franchise leader, but most single-season steals for the Cardinals franchise. Again, who has the most single-season stolen bases for the St. Louis Cardinals? If you know the answer, comment below, and if you don't, stick around to the end of the video, and we will discuss it then. But let's get right into it. Can the Cardinals beat the Dodgers? Well, right off the bat, I think that they certainly have the potential, but I'm going to not give them as good of a chance as I do the Braves or the Padres. I think, to sum up the issues that I have with the Cardinals, is they're missing a key bat or two, but I'm going to kind of break it down and compare each aspect of the Cardinals versus the Dodgers, starting with starting pitching. The Cardinals are, I would say, all right from the starting pitching standpoint. Not fantastic, certainly not the caliber that the Dodgers have, unfortunately. The Cardinals, obviously, leading starting pitcher in Jack Flaherty. I'm a big fan of him. I think he's very good. Last year he did not pitch very well. Went 4-3 and a 4.91 ERA. So last year wasn't his best, but can't base too much off of 1 year. In all honesty, I would put Jack Flaherty head to head against any number of the Dodgers starters between Bauer, Kershaw, Buehler. I would give him a good shot at going toe to toe against one of them on any given day. But then once you get deeper into the starting rotation for the Cardinals, it drops off a lot compared to what the Dodgers have. So again, Jack Flaherty, I have a lot of confidence in, and I think that he could go toe-to-toe with any of the Dodgers starting pitching. Again, I'm going to consider right now Kershaw still the ace for the Dodgers because he's the veteran. He has been around for a while. They do have Bauer, of course, but I still don't think he'll be the ace. So lining up Flaherty against Kershaw, say the two teams play and both those guys are on the mound, I don't think there'll be a significant advantage for either team because I think both those guys are going to be very good. So after that, who else does the Cardinals have in their starting rotation? Carlos Martinez, who has been a reliever / closer in the last couple seasons, working his way into the starting rotation. Last year, he was battling an oblique injury, so yes, he was not 100%, but 5 starts and a 9.9 ERA, so not a great year for him. Plus, it wasn't last year, maybe the year before in the playoffs, Martinez struggled against the Braves a lot, kind of blew some games there. So he's kind of notorious for that. So as a starter, I don't know how he's going to work, but I don't have a lot of confidence in Carlos Martinez as a starting pitcher. Also, Adam Wainwright, yes, 3-time All-Star. Yes, he's a veteran. He's good, but he's 39, and I was not sure. Nobody was sure he was going to come back, but of course, he is coming back to play for the Cardinals this year. Again, he is solid. He is a veteran. He did pitch very well in the series 2 years ago when the Cardinals played the Nationals, I believe, in the NLCS. Wainwright did pitch well then, and that was only 2 years ago. So he definitely still has some gas left in the tank, I'm hoping. But I don't give Wainwright a great chance against these high-caliber Dodgers pitchers. Then you got Kim, went 3-0 last year. 1.62 ERA in like I said, in 2020. He's good. Obviously had a good season last year, but last year was a weird year, so I'm not gonna base Flaherty's struggle. I'm not going to consider that too much. I'm not going to consider Kim's success last year too much. I do think Kim is a solid pitcher. And then Miles Mikolas, who I don't think played in the pros last year, spent some time in the minor leagues, whatever. He's going to be in part of that starting rotation this year, I think. Who has a 3.82 career ERA. Again, another solid pitching. So I'm going to give this Cardinals starting rotation is just a solid grade, nothing great. And looking at the Dodgers, of course, Trevor Bauer, obviously very good, 2020 Cy Young. Obviously at the peak of his career, his career ERA 3.7 something. He's not fantastic, but he's definitely on the climb. And then Kershaw, of course, 3-time Cy Young, got his first ring last year. Buehler, young guy, is electric. David Price, who, again, I'm not sure if he's going to be sticking around with the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers are better off trying to trade him for something, free up some money, because I don't think he's going to be pulling a lot of weight, as he's, 36, I think, now. And then Dustin May, the young guy with the big orange hair, yeah. So I think Dodgers pitching staff, very good. Cardinals, solid. So clear advantage for the Dodgers on the mound for me. And now looking at the lineup and on defense, going to compare the players by position. Tommy Edman, who I expect to lead off for the Cardinals, second baseman, versus Gavin Lux, second baseman of the Dodgers. Not neither of these two guys are great, but I think I'm going to take Edman over Lux. I did kind of when I compared the Padres and the Dodgers, I did give credit to Gavin Lux for having a so-called good year last year, but I have come to realize that he actually did not. Gavin Lux struggled last year. Obviously, was one of the highest prospects coming into the game, so I do think he still has potential, but he hasn't really showed it yet. So I'm going to give the edge to Tommy Edman there of the Cardinals. In the 2-hole, Paul DeJong at shortstop. Got to give the edge there to Seager. Paul DeJong is a solid player, but he's not Corey Seager. He's not your World Series MVP last year. He just, simply put, is not Corey Seager. So advantage Dodgers at shortstop. Goldschmidt at first base, absolutely giving the edge to Goldschmidt over Max Muncy. I did the same thing with the Padres. I gave Hosmer the edge over Muncy. For the Braves, I gave Freddie Freeman the edge over Muncy, and I'm giving definitely Goldschmidt the edge over Muncy. I don't think Muncy is very good on defense, and I like to consider defense as a huge part of the game. Yes, Muncy is good for a lot of home runs in a year, but I'm giving the edge to Goldschmidt. He's better on defense, and he definitely doesn't lack at the plate either. So advantage Cardinals at first base, and then advantage Cardinals at third base again with the huge requirement of Nolan Arenado again. Whether you want to argue Bregman's better or whatever, who's your top third baseman in the league, mine is Nolan Arenado, and of course him joining the Cardinals is big. So over Justin Turner, who for the purpose of this video, I'm assuming that the Dodgers will be re-signing Justin Turner, but that has not happened yet, and there are definitely many outcomes where Justin Turner does not return to LA, but I think the Dodgers would be dumb to do that. I think he is a large reason why they've had success in the postseason last 3-4 years. So I'm assuming they're going to re-sign him, but they have not yet. So for this, I'm going to be comparing Turner and Nolan, which I will give the edge to Nolan. However, you can easily argue Turner has an edge in the playoffs. Turner is I don't know what exact categories, maybe home runs, maybe RBIs, but Turner is the most efficient Dodgers third baseman ever in the postseason, and Nolan has very little playoff experience, but I still think Nolan is the better player, so I'm going to give the edge there to Nolan of the Cardinals. So it looks like right now I'm giving the edge to the Cardinals infield, with the exception of shortstop, and then behind the plate, Yachty or Will Smith. I'm going to go with the veteran, who of course is returning to St. Louis for his 18th season there. That's insane to me. And I just like Yachty's veteran presence behind the plate. I guess you could say Will Smith, or you obviously can't say he's younger. You can make arguments why that's better, why that's worse, but I think the veteran Yachty behind the plate is going to be a better catcher, but I definitely think his offensive production is going downhill and to continue to do that, so I don't think he's going to be producing a lot of runs. So I'm going to actually go ahead and maybe call it a draw behind the plate, because I think Will Smith will produce more offensively than Yachty will this year. And then in the outfield, clear advantage to the Dodgers. Of the Cardinals, you got Tyler O'Neill, Dylan Carlson, and Harrison Bader is my projected 2021 outfield for the Cardinals. Compare that to Mookie Betts, Cody Bellinger, and then, I don't know, maybe who's going to be in the outfield? AJ Pollock, probably the third, or Chris Taylor, the third outfielder for the Dodgers. Not going to be a chance there that the Cardinals are going to have a better outfield. So Dodgers advantage outfield for sure. So I'm going to say the all-around advantage in the infield goes to the Cardinals, but overall the Dodgers are the better team. What the Cardinals do have in their favor is I did a video of will they win their division. I think yes, the Cubs are going to put up a little bit of a fight, but they're not going to be able to be enough to beat the Cardinals out for this division. So the Cardinals are going to win their division. I definitely see this team in the playoffs this year, and the playoff Redbirds are not a team you want to mess with. So I give ever since that 2010-2011 season with David Freese, that was just like the most iconic baseball moment to me ever, and that just really embodies what the Cardinals do in the playoffs is they win baseball games. So I'm going to give the Cardinals credit for that, which I think they can fight and they can claw. But what this team is missing is another big bat between Goldschmidt and Arenado, and that's about it, because I'm not going to consider Yachty a big offensive threat because he's old. The Cardinals are missing a big bat or two. Like looking at the Dodgers, say Justin Turner's having a bad game, well, then Seager can pick him up. And if they're both having a bad game, then Max Muncy can pick him up. And if they're all three having a bad game, Bellinger can pick him up, or Betts can pick him up, whatever. But you look at the Cardinals lineup, if Nolan Arenado's off, then it's really then you got Goldie trying to carry the lineup. You can't do that. So all in all, can the Cardinals beat the Dodgers? Yes, when it comes down to the playoffs, but I think on any regular season matchup that's not got the atmosphere of a playoff game, I think the Dodgers are going to take it just because they have a much better hitting lineup and they have a better pitching staff. So advantage Dodgers on this one. Sorry, Cardinals fans. That's all for the video, guys. Question of the day: your franchise single season leader for stolen bases is Lou Brock. He put up 118 stolen bases in one season. Thanks for watching, guys. 2-minute warning.